used to rule, making kings on you, flying high on covenant wings. Wisdom calls for change, inspire and fire, with courage marching on in grace. God's word our short form glory. Covenant generation arise, that our knowledge to shine. Glorious foundation stone, leadership skills to show. Departed from knowledge to empower them, realism to realism. Wisdom calls for change, inspire and fall, with courage marching on in grace. God's one arrow shot for glory.
Let us put our hands together as we have our seat. You will agree with me this afternoon that the university anthem that we just recited is actually situating, what we are trying to do this afternoon here. And of course, as a way of giving out what we have, the program here, we have the welcome from the dean of the college. Then we are going to be having the registrar's remarks, the vice chancellor's remarks. Then the Cello Foundation representative will be coming up. Then we'll be going to have the vote of thanks and, of course, the closing prayer. So this is the lineup of programs that we have today. And, of course, to roll out the protocol, the acting vice chancellor, Professor Charity Aremu, you are welcome, ma. The registrar, Ms. Fola Oyinloye, thank you for coming. The dean of the College of Pure and Applied Sciences, Professor Ayodele Adebi, you're welcome, sir. Then we have our director in the house, the Director Center for Systems and Information Services, Mr. Okpeyemi Matiluko, thank you for coming. Then we have the people from Cello Foundation, you're welcome. Then faculty and staff of the university, and of course, kings and queens of Landmark University. Put your hands together to celebrate this program. So to take us further, we'll be having the welcome remarks from the dean. Let's put our hands together as it comes to the microphone.
Thank you, the ME. The VCMA, the registrar, please permit me to stand on the established protocol. I'm delighted this morning to see our students well seated, and we thank God for the safe trip of the Cello team that have come to impart our students on the blockchain technology. The blockchain technology is an emerging technology that globally everybody is drawing attentions, and we are privileged this morning to have a team to expose our students, to this emerging technology, in which subsequently they can engage to build all kinds of solutions that can solve national problems, problems around us within the nation. This technology can be engaged, you'll be introduced to the basics of this, and subsequently you learn more, and at the end of the day, you'll be able to compete, and favorably when you go outside Landmark University. I want to appreciate the team, and we thank God for their safe arrival. I want to deeply, appreciate the management. They have been fully in support of this program to take place, and we are happy that the VC is even in our midst, the registrar is in our midst, to also be part of these programs. We are mostly grateful, ma. God bless you for coming, ma. My job just to welcome everyone. So I want to welcome the kings and the queens in the house. This program is for you. Please pay a rapt attention and get the best out of it. And ask questions that will further, enlarge your knowledge. On this note, I say thank you for all for coming. God bless.
Once again, a round of applause for the Dean for that beautiful welcome remarks. To take us further, we are bringing up the Registrar, Landmark University, for her remarks. Let's put our hands big. Aren't you excited?
Is this Landmark University? And do we have kings and queens seated here this afternoon? I listened out to the way you clapped your hands when the dean came up and when he went down. And I said, I'm not sure I'm in Landmark University. If indeed I'm in Landmark University and I've got kings and queens in the house, can you please put your hands together? Thank you. I recognize this morning the Acting Vice Chancellor, Landmark University, the Dean of College, our directors, our guests from Selo Foundation, and of course, the reason why we're all here in Landmark University, our kings and our queens. If you are not here, we will not be a university, we will be a research center. So for being here, we appreciate and we acknowledge you. And as I sat there, just thinking about you and this opportunity that God has brought your way, what came to my mind is this phrase, a people born in due season. The blockchain technology is an emerging technology. It's not something that you find on the streets. It's not yet in academic curriculum in this part of the world yet. Yet, you are in a university that is exposing you to this technology so that you can compete favorably with your colleagues across the globe. Aren't you indeed people born in due season? I want you to answer, yes we are, no we are not. Yes we are, no we are not.
Yes, we are.
Beautiful, put your hands together for yourselves. So if you acknowledge that you're a people born in due season, and you have a platform that is exposing you to the best, as students of a globally ranked university, then I want you to do just one thing today. Make up your mind that you are going to glean the best in your interest, the best that will enable you to add value to your world, the best that will help you to make a name and a fame and become a praise from this training session. And so I want to ask you to please make sure that you pay rapt attention. The dean has said that already. Now you'll be here for about 2-3 hours. Let me prepare your mind for that. But you'll be learning new things. New vistas will be opened up to you. New knowledge, new learnings will be coming to you. Do not allow these 2-3 hours that you'll be spending here to be wasted. Open your heart, open your mind, glean knowledge, and soar with the knowledge that you glean from this meeting this morning. It's on this note that I want to congratulate all of you and wish you the best of time during this training. This afternoon, let me also introduce to you again someone that I introduce to you all the time, as I also bring her upstage, to also give you a word before we continue. And before I do that, I am assured that will be of the best comportment that is only found in royalties, because that is what you are. This afternoon, would you please rise? Put your hands together as I bring to the microphone the Acting Vice Chancellor, Landmark University, Professor Charity Aremu. Would you please put your hands together for her?
Please, may we be comfortably seated. On behalf of the Chancellor, Landmark University, I want to congratulate you this morning, our dear kings and queens, for this awesome privilege that you have to be part of this training. Today we live in a world of changes. Today, what you have yesterday will not be what you have again today. There is always a regular, in fact, it's becoming consistent that things are changing. And the paradigm is shifting and shifting globally, not even only in Nigeria. And so if we have these emerging trends, we must also build our students to be in touch, so that as you leave Landmark University, you are well equipped to be that mission accomplished pathfinders. And that is what? Becoming what? Solution providers. You are able to tell yourself, yes, I am equipped to be a solution provider. And so, in achieving this mission, that is the reason why we are here this morning. Today, by privilege, we have in our midst a team who will be putting forward to us another emerging technology that will prepare us, that will prepare you, the kings and queens of Landmark, for the world outside there. Not just in Nigeria. Whatever training you receive from Landmark is to prepare you internationally to be engaged. And that's what we stand for. Remember our vision, to be what? A leading world-class university. And so if we're a world-class university, who is that university? You, the kings, you, the queens. And so for you to be a world-class university, we must also follow with the trend that is making round international and intellectual gifts to students. And so one of these intellectual gifts is what we are bringing on board this morning. And so we here have today the Cello Foundation team. It's all about learning. It's all about applications. It's all about preparing you to engage these applications in diverse fields of engagement. And more in more specific terms today, the computer science, engineering, and then maybe some other time, we may be looking at the accounting and business related students. And so today, we have packaged, the Department of Computer Science has packaged the Cello Foundation team to be at service to you, our dear kings and queens. And so what a great privilege that you all have today. What a great privilege that you will be embracing today in preparing yourself for tomorrow. And again, noting our stand in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, we have 17 of them. And these few hours engagement, we'll be addressing 3 of them. That is SDG 4, quality education, SDG 9, innovation, industry innovation and infrastructure. And then we have SDG 17, We are partnering with Salo Foundation today. Partnership for the goals. So addressing these three, we are sure to be in line, to be in touch with the expectations of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So we are intentional in anything we do. When we received this information, we said, where is this applicable? Looking at the 17 SDGs. And so we identified these three. And so we were able to encourage ourselves to say we are still within the boundaries. And we are also going to maintain these boundaries in these few hours of training. And so I want to indulge us. Dear kings and queens, it is your own catch-up moments that will be traceable to what you'll be doing out there tomorrow. These few hours, will you see it as traceable to what you'll be doing out there tomorrow? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Or you want to sit among the crowd, or you want to sit amongst those applauding, and already those that will be in the middle of the game are engaging. See yourself as one of those in the middle of the game to engage, to maximize the season right before you, and you ensure you take the best out of it and go out there and demonstrate and prove that indeed Landmark University went through you, and you also went through Landmark University. That's the essence of you sitting here this morning. Every lecturer here seated have other engagements. And I'm sure you know that you should be in one class or the other by this time. So ensure you maximize this time and not see it as a fun fair. Come up with questions, ask relevant questions that will further equip you with the necessary skills that you will be engaging at the end of your 4 or 5 year training as Landmark University Pathfinder. We want to remain proud of you, and that is why we are showcasing every opportunity that will make us proud of you. So please ensure you maximize this season. Let me seize this opportunity right away to appreciate the organizers, the Department of Computer Sciences. You have done well by bringing this up, noting where the whole world is navigating to. And so we appreciate the effort of the department. I also want to say we want to thank again, especially the Salo Foundation, for locating Landmark as one of the universities to engage in this. We believe, yes, we had an earlier discussion, and we believe after these few hours of engagement, we'll be able to situate if we are to go further. And so we want to thank you for coming on board, especially dear Engineer Falabi, Engineer Aliu. Yes, you were supposed to be part of us earlier today. We want to thank you and thank God for joining mercies that you eventually made it. And our own Engineer Muyi too, want to appreciate you and your whole team that the team lead brought along for this special program. Well, here, sir, we have our students. They are ready for you. And we believe after these few hours of engagement, they will return with testimonies. And so on this note, we want to declare this few hours program open, as we request that we all rise to declare this program open in the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. We know that at the end of this training, you'll be better for it. In Jesus' mighty name. So congratulations, everyone. God bless you.
Management will be having a group photograph with the Salo Foundation team, and of course, representative of the students. For the privileged platform the management has created this morning, let us put our hands together to celebrate them.
We would like to appreciate the management for gracing us with their presence. We as NACOS executives and computer science students. Without further ado, we'll be going straight to the program we have for today. The title of this event is Making Sense of Blockchain and DeFi with a rounding and resounding applause. Let's put our hands together as we welcome Mr. Abisoye Falabi, the crypto manager for Celo Foundation, to take us further in this training.
Hi everyone, good afternoon everyone. Good afternoon, King and Queens. Okay, I will try and do what the registrar did. Good afternoon, Queens and Kings. Okay, do I have everyone's attention? Do I have your attention over there? Okay, thank you very much. I want to welcome everyone for coming out for this. We really want to appreciate you all for taking out time to come to the program. I just want to give a quick rundown and run through of how we're going to go about this. Typically, we're going to do a quick intro and then also introduce the speakers. My name is Abisoye Falabi. I have experience in blockchain and also using technology in terms of agriculture, be it in terms of data analytics, data analysis, cloud computing, machine learning, and things of that nature. Also have experience in blockchain technology as well in various use cases across various sectors. With me also, I have one and only Aliyu, is the ecosystem lead for Africa for Celo Foundation. It would also be speaking as well, speaking generally about blockchain. I have one and only Muyi of Kanza Finance here as well. He's a PM at Kanza. Would also be talking about data and well within the confines of agriculture and basically blockchain. And I would also be doing a wrap up regarding what we're looking at doing in terms of be it a developer community or student developer community of those who are into blockchain. Show of hands, how many people here are blockchain engineers? Okay, have everybody's attention. How many people here are blockchain engineers? Anyone? Okay, you write smart contracts? Okay, so you know about Solidity? Awesome. Any other person? I've identified one person. What level are you in? Okay, 400 level. Have you gone on internship? Okay. Oh, you've gone on internship. Oh, okay. Okay. I think other people have to remind you. Are you nervous? Okay. Any other blockchain engineer here? Okay. You write smart contracts? Okay. You write Solidity, right? Do you write Python? What level are you in? 400. Okay. Any other person? Smart contracts? Blockchain? Oh, nice. You as well. 400? Okay. Any other blockchain engineer here who is not in 400 level? Why now? But why? Any other person? Okay, they are pointing towards that young one. Okay, what level are you in? 100. Right. Nice. Awesome. Okay. Show of hands. Okay, quickly. Can you guys just run down to Google? Just check for blockchain engineers, what's it called? Blockchain engineer salary, average, anybody? Anybody? Just turn out your computers, go to google.com, just type in blockchain engineer salary or blockchain engineer compensation. in USD? Let's see it. Anybody? Fastest fingers first. You said what? 150,000 naira. Oh, dollars per year. Awesome. Any other person? 2 point what? Blockchain engineer total compensation. Use the word blockchain engineer total compensation. Yes. $200,000 per year, right? Okay. Just use total compensation. What you are seeing is base salary. Please just do that. Blockchain engineers. Total compensation. Just Google search. I'm not presenting any slide, so you're using Google yourself. You're seeing it yourself. What are you seeing? 500, right? $500,000. Awesome. Okay. I think I have everybody's attention now. Okay, cool. We'll be doing a number of things. We'll explain a number of concepts. We would also try as much as possible to cover a few things within the conference of time that we have. We'll be sharing some other materials afterwards, not during this session. Some other materials will be shared with you. I'm sure, I think there was a registration booth outside. Did you all register? Okay, so your details are available. We'll share relevant materials, even if you do not know anything about blockchain. It's not a problem. We have content that has been created for that purpose. Just as the Vice Chancellor said, this is not just going to be a one-off. We're looking at a situation where we'll be in collaboration with the university, and maybe once a year or thereabouts, we would be coming to the university to have hands-on sessions, and probably students that are interested in having their internship in blockchain organizations will provide that as well. So without further ado, I think I would, Madam, can I go ahead and fire on? Okay, cool. Without further ado, I would like to bring forward the ecosystem lead for the whole of Africa, the one and only Mr. Aliu, to take us through in his own session.
Okay, it's afternoon already. Good afternoon, everyone. It's actually nice to be with you guys today, and I can see beautiful kings and queens, just like Mommy have said earlier. So, my name is Aliu, and I lead the Celo Foundation ecosystem in Africa. I have background in software engineering, building different solutions for different kind of like companies that are building different use cases, including finance, healthcare, agriculture, aviation, and different kind of like other use cases around the world. I've actually, I'm a like a very good traveler because I've been to about 27 countries around the world on this job. So it's really nice to be with you, and I'll personally like to be taking you through the basic of blockchain technology, some of the things you can take advantage of within the blockchain technology space, some of the great use cases that we have available, and of course, for some of you that might want to major a career in blockchain technology, we would definitely touch this part as well. Before I move further, my brother mentioned, he asked a question the other time about some of the people that are building smart contracts. Yeah, blockchain engineers. Please, can you guys raise up your hands again? Blockchain engineers. Okay. 1, 2. Please raise it up very well. Let me be able to see it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you sure you are raising it up? Yeah. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Any other hands? I think this is a new hand, right? Is that a new one? 9. That seems like the 9th person. Interesting. That is really interesting because a new hand. Wow, that's 10 people. Interesting. Actually, why I'm so particularly interested in seeing people writing smart contracts here is the fact that I understand that many people are still kind of like immersed in Web 2. There's no how we can talk about blockchain technology without talking about Web 2, then moving to Web 3. So what is Web 2? What is Web 3? I'll definitely talk about that. But before I do that, I would like to do a very mini survey. Please, for all of the 10 people that actually raised up their hand, would you be able to let me know the programming language that you guys are writing the smart contract with, please? Do we have another mic, or we have to pass this one around? Just one. Okay, you can just stand up and please talk about it. Which programming language do you write your smart contracts with? Solidity. You? Solidity. Python. Interesting. Any other person? We have 10 people. We now have 3. What happened? Where are the rest? I just want to know the programming language that we are using. This is simply because we actually have a package for people that are writing specific programming language. So I want to know if this is, the right opportunity for you guys or not. Okay. Rust and Solidity. Wow, that's a big man. Interesting. Okay, which other one? Is that all? It looks like everyone is writing Solidity. Actually, every one of us that are blockchain engineers usually come through Solidity. Then maybe as time goes on, we go into different other programming language to write our smart contract. That is really interesting. Before I talk about blockchain technology, I would like to talk about Web 2. What is Web 2? Literally, everything that we have on internet, almost everything we have on the internet today are Web 2. You want to search a website, for example, you want to search for landmarkuniversity.edu.ng, right? That is the website. So you type www.landmarkuniversity.edu.ng. That is using Web 2. Because in Web 2, you have every information, and then you have, interactive session with any kind of like digital media, for example, a website. And you can easily interact with it. But in Web 2, it is centralized. Centralized in the sense that there has to be a particular person or set of individuals that are controlling it, the database, right? Say, I will use the school website, for example. We will definitely have an ICT department in the school that are maintaining the school website, that are doing all of the updates, that are, kind of like inputting everything. The school portal for the registration, when it's time for registration, for payment of school fees, when it's time for payment of school fees, and every other thing that is happening on the website. That is Web 2, because you have people that can make changes on the portal at every point in time. They can put in a registration, they can, for example, put in an information, and they feel like maybe there is something that is not completed on the information. Go there again and add to the information. On the website, that is Web 2, because you can always go there, make some changes, changes that are not even traceable, because you can easily make changes on Web 2 without anybody being able to trace it, right? But this is not the same when it comes to Web 3. So this is like where the difference comes. What is Web 3? Now, Web 3 comes because of the fact that individuals doesn't trust each other. I don't trust you, you don't trust me. We don't trust our government, for example. Many individuals may not trust government. Maybe government doesn't trust individuals as well. Or for example, you kind of like have a community where you are putting money together when you don't trust the people that you are giving the money, or you don't trust the people that you are giving the informations, right? That is where what Web3 comes to solve, right? So Web3 is like what we have in Web 2. But in this regard, it is decentralized. It is immutable. It is, distributed, and, it is more secured. I would explain all of these terms, how it is decentralized, it is immutable, it is distributed, and it is more secured. How is it decentralized? It is decentralized in the sense that, I'm not sure, have every one of us used Google Doc? Yes, you use Google Doc a lot. I can create a Google Doc and then share all the link with everyone, and every one of us will make the changes that they want to make. For example, I can create a Google Doc and say, okay, input your own comment, and then you make your comment, say, for example, Sade, this is my own comment. And every one of us will be saying it. You understand that is how Google Doc works, right? No? Okay, perfect. You know that when I created the Google Doc, I shared the link with everyone. That means I distributed the link to everyone, right? So that makes it a distributed a distributed template, like for all of us to fill in. And then when we are able, for example, when we get this doc, every one of us puts the informations, and everyone can access the information as long as you have the link. You can see what Sade is writing. Tola can see what James is writing. James can see what Daniel is writing, right? And then in this regard, it makes it more like it is distributed and it is open because everyone can see the information there, right? That is how Google Doc works. It is that same analogy is how blockchain technology works in terms of the distribution part of it. It is distributed in the sense that everyone on a particular blockchain network have access to it. They have access to all of the information you are putting on it. But what is the difference here? Google Doc is on Web 2, right? Because of the fact that if, for example, I see James writing something on Google Doc, I can delete it. You know it's possible. As long as we all have access to that document. If I have access to the document that James also have edit access to, I have the same edit access to it. I can clear what James writes and put another thing. I'm very sure you guys have used Google Doc. Do you understand this part? Right. So if I can clear it, that makes it not secured. That makes it not immutable. That means Google Doc is not immutable in the sense that we can always change anything we want to change on it. Right? But in blockchain technology, as soon as we pass an information into a particular network, say, for example, a blockchain network, I'm not going to mention a particular blockchain, just any of the blockchain network, any of the blockchain protocol, as long as you pass a particular information into it, nobody, even you yourself that put the information on it, can change it. Nobody can change it. Not anyone can change it in the world, right? So it makes it more immutable and secured, right? It is distributed. I've already explained how it is distributed because once you have an information and the public key is available to everyone, anybody can actually access it in the world. Anybody in the world, not even about a university. Anybody on that particular network around the world can access it, right? So now, I've explained how it is distributed, how it is immutable. But what makes it secure? Is it because we cannot change the information on it? No, that is not what makes blockchain secure. For us to have a very full decentralized blockchain technology solution, it has to be encrypted with cryptography. I'm very sure we have computer scientists and engineers here, and you must have, even if you have not reached there yet, you must have heard something about cryptography. So cryptography makes this encryption very, very strong, in the sense that even as a cyber security guy, you might not even be able to, decrypt whatever it is that is encrypted, whatever information that is encrypted. You can see the information because it is open, it is distributed, but you cannot break it, right? You can actually break this security because of this cryptography encryption that is, matched by different information that is available on the blockchain. And the way blockchain works, why is it even called blockchain? Sometimes I remember there was a presentation. We wanted to do a project for a particular government in Nigeria, and we went to do a presentation to someone very, very well known in politics. And then after this presentation, the next question the man asked us was, "This your blockchain? Is it the block that people mod and then they put chain to it and put everything together to take it on internet? Is it? Do you guys think that is blockchain? Huh? Do you guys think that is blockchain? Oh my God. Are you like our man in politics?" Actually, the name blockchain itself is like we have set of blocks. But it is not a block that is being molded with sand and cement. This is how it is. Let me give you a very, very brief example. A notebook. A notebook that we use in the classrooms to write. There are some notebooks that are actually binded with spring, right? Now, each pages of a book, a notebook, let us assume that is a block, right? And then you have CSE 111. So you pick that particular notebook for CSE 111. And in CSE 111, the first topic, let's say the first topic is algorithm. I don't know if that is the first topic in CSE 111. But if the first topic is algorithm, so you pick the first page and write algorithm notes. Then the next day, you come to the class, and they said the next topic is, I don't know, what other topic? JavaScript. Let me just pick that, right? Or if they say web design, then you pick this another page and say, okay, web design, right? The first page you wrote, that is a block on its own. That is, I'm picking this analogy up so that you can understand how blockchain comes into terms, right? So if a page is a block, another page is a block, because each of these pages, which are a block, are encrypted with different informations. You have a page that is, that you actually put algorithm. You have another page that you put web design. You have another page that you put HTML. You go further, another page we have CSS. You go further, maybe you another page you have another programming language. And then you already have a lot of blocks, which is a lot of pages, right? Different informations are on different pages. Different informations encrypted in different blocks, right? In a page, they can define algorithm, type of algorithm. They can tell you how algorithm works, and you put all of that in a page, right? You go to another page, different kind of informations, right? Now, the cryptography that is binding it together, each page are binded together with a spring in a notebook, right? Or whatever it is, a gum or whatever it is that is, that they use, or a pen that they use to bind all of these pages together. But in blockchain, each of these pages or each of these blocks, when it comes to blockchain, are actually binded together with a cryptography encryption. I hope this is not too technical, right? Am I making sense? I hope this not sounds like a boring jargon. Is it? Not yet. Okay, let's go forward. So, in blockchain, you have different kind of pages like this, different kind of blocks that are encrypted, that you have different kind of informations. And all of these blocks are encrypted with a cryptography encryption, right? So this makes it a set of blocks that are chained together with cryptography, blockchain technology. I don't know if this explanation actually makes you understand what blockchain is. Is there anyone who still doesn't understand how blockchain terms comes into play? Please, if you don't, feel free. Anyone? No. Okay, not yet. All right, let's move forward. Now, as I was saying, now we have different kind of information on different blocks that are already encrypted with cryptography. Now, this cryptography is the reason why it is secured. It is secured in the sense that it's not just someone anyhow can come from anywhere and say, okay, let us hack this database. No, it's not like someone will just come from anywhere and say, okay, let us do DDoS attack for this website. It's not possible, right? So that is how Web 2 is different from Web 3. Because Web 3 is decentralized, Web 3 is distributed. It is decentralized in the sense that no any control authority. When you build a website, right? I'm very sure, even if you are not building blockchain yet, we will have many people that can build a website here, right? How many people can build a website? I know will be plenty. This one will be plenty. You can build a website. You understand how you can connect your backend with database, right? Now, if you are building a website and you build it connected to the database, you will still be able to control whatever it is going on in your database. You can decide to take information. You can decide to delete information. You can all of this post, delete that we do as a software developer, right? As a website developer, right? So this makes it centralized. That is a centralized, forms of, solutions. A very, very clear example of centralized forms of solution is that we have government that can control us, right? For example, in healthcare, when doctors take your informations, they put it in, for example, some hospitals now use hospital management record. In this particular record, they can easily go there and delete it. And when you go there next time and say, this was my test result the last time, and they tell you that it's not on their records because they have deleted it, right? They can even manipulate it and change whatever information that is on it. That is, all of these are Web 2, which is like the current existing forms of, forms of systems that we are running on. But Web3 is coming up to actually change things, so that a lot of things would be able to change, and we don't need to trust each other before we are able to share information with each other, or before we are able to perform transactions with each other, right? Every information is our transactions. Either you are giving people a record of data, those are transactions too. Transaction doesn't have to be money. I'm very sure you guys know this. Transaction is not about giving people money. If you are giving people your data, it is still transaction, right? So now let us talk about different use cases of blockchain technology, now that we understand how blockchain technology works. Honestly, if you are talking about use cases of blockchain technology, they are numerous. I personally even don't know all of the use cases, because until they bring the solutions to you, and you now look at it and think through it very well, you might not even know that blockchain can work for it. I'll pick the first one, healthcare. What is use cases of blockchain technology in healthcare? Do we have someone that can explain or that can tell me what use cases we have? What use cases of blockchain technology we have in healthcare? We have smart contract developers here. You guys must have developed something close to that. Yes, please. For healthcare. Interesting. Yeah, that's right. He said that, because I know his voice was not very up. He said that having record of patients, with the hospital. Yeah, this is like one of the use cases of, blockchain technology in healthcare. Now, this is how it works. I go to the hospital, I get malaria, I have malaria, they do the test, they actually prescribe different medicine for me, and all of these records are there. If this is Web 2, for example, if this is an app that is developed by someone that is not on Web 3, that is not a blockchain solution, they can decide to actually delete it or modify it. For example, if they even make mistake in the prescription, if, for example, they prescribe paracetamol for me, like they said I should use paracetamol for 5 days instead of 3 days, and they have already input this particular record. If this is a Web 2 solution, they can go there and change it and say, okay, it's no more 5 days, it is just for 3 days. But it is not possible when it is on blockchain. If you have a record that is being put on blockchain technology, for example, you have an hospital, let's say Landmark University Clinic is using blockchain solution, and a student fell sick, go to the hospital, and then maybe he or she was given injection, medicine, and every necessary treatment, and he put all of these details on the record, which is the record that is being built on blockchain technology, right? It is not possible for any doctor or any engineer, I'm talking about blockchain engineer, to now say, okay, this record is not it again, let us change it. It's not possible. And another thing that makes it more very cool is the fact that if this kind of record is on blockchain technology, the patient itself would have access to it, in the sense that you can have what we called a private key. That is what we call a private key. I will explain that terms later. Private key in blockchain technology is like password, but it's not really password. But it's like password that you can always use to access your informations on the protocol, right? So if you have all this information, you can always put it on this protocol. If you have this private key, rather, you can always put it on this protocol, look at all of the information that they stored for you in the hospital. And in this case, this particular information, you can actually take your private key, travel to the US, give them the private key, and ask them to check your medical record. This kind of solution is literally impossible right now with Web 2, because of the fact that a specific hospital will not want to share their patient data with another hospital. But in Web 3, the patient himself or herself have the right to pick up the private key and give it to another hospital and say, okay, this is my record. You can check it on the blockchain. So that's what makes it different, because you have control over your data. You have control over your informations. And this particular information, you can actually distribute it the way you want. You have control over it, right? So that's like one of the use cases in healthcare. There are other use cases that we have around, right? I would also like to talk about governance, use cases in governance. blockchain technology use cases is very, very, very important in governance. In fact, in this part of the world, if we decide to be using blockchain technology for our election, then all of us will just be rest assured that our votes count, irrespective of whatever happens. Because if you put any voting system on the blockchain, for example, all of us here want to vote for, let's say, our faculty lead, right? And we decide to have a solution that has been built on the blockchain. Then all of us can easily vote with our phone. And this particular vote, immediately I vote, all of you see it that another vote has been added. Immediately I cast my vote. The vote is added. This is live. I mean, the record of transaction is live. The record of information is live. Like I said earlier, transaction to me is still the same as information, right? So the record of information is live. The record of information is distributed across everyone because all of us are able to follow it up. Then it is distributed, it is decentralized because nobody can go there again and say, okay, we have 42 votes for this man. Let me change it to 52. It's not possible. It is decentralized. Nobody have access to it. All of us have access to it. Nobody have access like the rightful owner access to it, right? So this is like how useful it is, like to have a blockchain solution for governance, for voting, right? And then hopefully, maybe in the next, I don't know how many years, maybe we can have this kind of solution in governance in this part of the world. We already have few countries around the world that are using blockchain solution for governance. In fact, Cameroon actually tested it out in 2018, but they didn't actually vote on blockchain. They voted normally the way every country votes, and then they now pick up the results and uploaded it on blockchain so that nobody would be able to alter it later. But that is still literally not a fully decentralized kind of system that we want. If you want to have a fully decentralized kind of system, then the entire system would have to be on the blockchain. And that is what decentralization means, right? We have other use cases. We have use cases of blockchain technology in finance. We have use cases of blockchain technology in agriculture. We have use cases of blockchain technology in education. We have use cases of blockchain technology in supply chain management. In fact, the first successful use cases of blockchain that I personally built on was supply chain, right? In the sense that, say for example, I'll take a company, Coca-Cola, I'll take it as an example. If Coca-Cola feel like there are people that are doing counterfeit products of Coca-Cola in Nigeria, right? There could be. There are so many cases of counterfeit products that we have seen in the market, that we have read in the news. If Coca-Cola felt like there are so many counterfeit products of Coca-Cola in the market, they can use blockchain solution to actually solve their problems. How? They can actually tokenize every Coca-Cola product on the blockchain. I hope this tokenize is not going to cause trouble again. Okay, let us solve it, because I know it's causing trouble already. What is tokenization? If I have this phone and I want to tokenize it, I just need to register it on the blockchain, and it will have an encryption. With this encryption, if I decide that I'm not using this phone again, I can dash it to maybe my sister or anyone, and my sister can actually verify that I was the rightful owner of it. For example, there was a time that policemen stops people and ask for receipts of their gadgets and say, where is the receipt of your phone or receipt of your laptop, right? If the company that sells the phone to you decided to tokenize it when you are buying it, then they will register the ownership. They will transfer the ownership already into your name. And anybody can go to the blockchain, to the whichever protocol that was used to register it, and verify it. See your name, see whatever it is that they need to check, that makes it, shows that you are the owner, rightful owner of the phone. The same thing can happen when it comes to the Coca-Cola product that I was explaining. So if Coca-Cola tokenize all of their product that is coming out of their factory, then it is possible for you to buy a Coca-Cola product, scan it with your QR code, and see that it is registered on the blockchain, and then be able to drink it. So in this way, it is more easier for people to actually understand if a product is counterfeit or it is the original. For example, in Barcelona, Spain, all of their water, all of their bottled water are tokenized on the blockchain. All of the water being produced in Barcelona are actually tokenized on the blockchain. If it is not tokenized, you will see every bottled water you buy in Barcelona would have a barcode on it, which you can scan with your code and confirm that it is verified, like it is not a counterfeit product. So these are different use cases of blockchain technology, and there are so many of it. It depends on how well you can think about doing different things, building different kind of solutions, and then working towards it depends on what you're trying to work towards. So if at this point you still feel like blockchain technology is not the future, I'll probably will fight with you. Well, I'm joking, actually. So I've explained what blockchain is, what use cases we have. Now I would like to talk lastly on career in blockchain. The last time, Abisoye was asking you guys to check Google and see an average salary of blockchain engineer. This is true. In my home company, average salary of a blockchain engineer in my company is $80,000 per year. And this is totally independent of your location. Even if you live in Congo, you will still take that salary. It's not about living in the US. Look, there is one thing about working in tech, and I'm very sure some of you might have already known. Tech, like you guys are so lucky that you are in this kind of field, like you are in this kind of career, and that you are getting this kind of orientation, and that you are being exposed to this kind of information, right? Because tech doesn't have location. Tech doesn't discriminate about your location. Blockchain technology doesn't discriminate about your sexual orientation, male or female, no. Thin or tall, no. Short or tall, nobody cares. You are from Nigeria or you're from the United States, nobody cares, right? So for this reason, you will realize that there are so many kind of opportunities, especially in blockchain, right? And the reason why there are many opportunities in blockchain technology is because this is still an emerging technology that many people are still not, taking advantage of. And if you have the information now, and you understand that this is something that, a lot of people are still not there. And every day, when we got here about an hour ago, I opened my LinkedIn and I saw a message from a founder that is looking for software engineers. Like, he sent me the message that they are looking for blockchain engineers, senior blockchain engineers. And I was showing my team, like, you see, we receive that kind of messages every day. In fact, some people will even tempt you with money, but I don't want to tempt you with money. I want to tempt you with the core value of being a software engineer, the core value of being a blockchain engineer. I know that many people do things because they feel like, or $50,000 per year. I'm very sure majority of you guys must have converted that money into Naira and look at it like $150,000 multiplied by 600 Naira divided by 12. How much is it monthly? I'm very sure you guys have done that, right? But is that a core value? No. To be honest, 100%, that is not the core value. The core value is, what can you do? Let me tell you, you cannot approach any company and say, I heard that you guys are paying $80,000 per year for a blockchain engineer. I want you to hire me. Is it possible? Is it possible? Is it possible? Just, as I've told you that, okay, my company pays average of $80,000 per year for blockchain engineer. And you now say, Cello, you started looking for jobs on Cello and say, like, okay, let me apply because they are paying $80,000 per year. Is it possible? Do you have the core value that is, the intrinsic core value that is actually required for you to be, to be able to apply for that kind of role? That is the core value. So now today, if you want to major career in blockchain technology, I'm just talking about being a blockchain developer. There are several other careers that you can actually have as a blockchain in blockchain technology. I'll mention all those ones too. It doesn't have to be an engineer. I know that I always say it. Programming language might not be easy for all of us to learn. All of us here cannot be a programmer. That's the 100% truth that many people don't believe sometimes. Now, if you want to be a blockchain engineer, for example, what are the things you need to do, right? Now we are in the kind of life that everything is at our disposal. That is why we have smartphones. That is why we have laptops. That is why we have, internet. I mean, so many things you can do with your internet. And then you'll be able to see that, okay, these are the pathways to become a software engineer, to become a blockchain engineer. Is it even possible for you to become a blockchain engineer without initially becoming a software engineer? Is it possible? Can you go through and say, okay, you just jump into Solidity. Say, your first programming language you learn is Solidity. You don't even know HTML. You don't even know CSS. You don't even know whatever. And then you say, I want to learn Solidity. And you just jump into it, and you are done. Is it possible? Our blockchain engineers, is it possible? Is it possible? No. Right. So it has processes. So if you want to be a blockchain engineer, there are still processes to go through, right? And these processes are available at our disposal. Let us take advantage of all of these informations and go through, these processes and utilize it well to create a career for ourselves in the most, I always say this, that this tech career path is the most exciting career of this century. Even more than a medical doctor. Forget it. Look at those doctors and tell them that you guys doesn't have a better career like us. And that is the truth. Because you design what a medical doctor will even use for their patients. That is it. If you are a software engineer, without a software engineer today, medicine will still be the old fag one that they are using. There are so many things that as a software engineer you can control for a medical doctor. They use different kind of hardware to do their surgery today, to do different analysis, do different kind of testing. And there is no hardware without software. If they do an hardware, there still have to be a programming language that is controlling that particular hardware. That is it. That is, majority of the hardware are still being programmed. Even this particular TV have programming behind it. It would never work if there is no programming behind it. Because if you open it now, it's just board. Can board just work without being programmed? No. So see yourself as, if you are majoring career in this tech, see yourself as see yourself like a king of this career, of whatever career that is available in this century. Just see yourself like that, right? There is other kind of career, apart from being a developer, apart from being an engineer. It is product management. I don't know if I should talk about this, or if I should allow Abisoye to talk about this, because he is a very, very great product manager. He has managed products for several countries within Nigeria and abroad, right? So I think I will allow him to talk about that. There are many other kind of, opportunity. There is data analysis in blockchain, right? Even if you are a blockchain company, a blockchain startup, it still doesn't stop the fact that you still need to go through, analyze data in your company. We have business intelligence department in my company that are comprised about 16 team members. So these people are the ones that analyze different kind of data, different kind of opportunities for us, with SQL and whatever it is that they use every time, right? So these are, whatever it is that you want to do, in blockchain, there are opportunities for you. The only thing you need to do is to kind of like find a way to tap into that opportunity, and then definitely, I believe if you put in the work that is required, you will definitely get there. That's why I'm very impressed to know that, this is like one of very few schools, one of very, very, very few universities that I have been to, and I see not one, not even two, not even three students that are already writing smart contracts with blockchain technology. That is so, so amazing and super exciting to actually see you guys doing great. Honestly, it's something that I will carry it along, and I'll definitely be talking about in different other schools that I'll be going to in the future. So, and then, there is always a room for you to, kind of like collaborate with people that you know that they are already doing things in this space. You already have people that are doing blockchain development, writing smart contracts. Ask them for guidance. And at Celo Foundation, we have a program for developers, which we always use to encourage developers that are especially building smart contracts. For example, as we have, I remember I counted up to 10 developers here. If all of you come together and feel like you want to build a solution, it doesn't have to be for school. It could be a solution that will be for the whole country, right? For example, you feel like you want to build a finance product, a healthcare product, an agricultural product, or whatever kind of product, supply chain products, right? And you want to build it on blockchain. Approach us. Of course, there is always opportunity to share with you. There is always different kind of opportunity, right? Grant opportunity for you to be able to build an effective solution, mentorship opportunity, like any kind of opportunity that you feel like would be the right one for you. Because we know that this technology is still emerging, and if we don't support people to actually build through, a lot of people will give up going forward. A lot of people will give up on the journey. And this is the reason why we actually create different kind of opportunities, especially for students, to be able to thrive, in this ecosystem. And right now, I think I've really talked a lot, and I believe that I have, done a little bit of justice to explaining what blockchain technology is, the different use cases that are available, and some of the career paths that are available on blockchain technology. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your, calmness, and I must say it again that you guys are truly kings and queens. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. I'm Muyi Nehikare. I'm a project lead at Kanza Finance, but I will not be talking about any financial products today. I want to talk to you guys about IPFS. We've spoken about Web 2, Web 3, but does anybody here know about IPFS? All right. IPFS is the Interplanetary File System. This is the protocol on which Web3 will be stored. Web3, as we know now, is the decentralized web. So essentially, we want all parts of that web to be decentralized, which means the storage of the data on the web. Currently, when Facebook has issues with their database or Facebook is down, you guys experience some shortfalls with your WhatsApp. Is that correct? Like, the whole world will just be unable to use WhatsApp for, let's say, an hour or 2 hours. It's happened a couple times in the past 2 years. Some of the time, too, it's happened to Google as well. But this is something that can be changed using IPFS. So, first off, I want to let everybody know that IPFS is a file sharing system that aims to fundamentally change the way information is distributed around the world. So, for me and you to talk, like for me to be talking and for you to be hearing me and interacting with me, we need to have an agreement on, the set of rules that we're going to talk. Like when I speak, when you listen, when you talk, when I listen, and I need to be able to understand what you're saying. But in today's age, that's called language, but in tech, that's called communication protocols. And before the 1980s, each computer system that was created was its own stand-alone system that couldn't communicate with another computer. So it was just its own stand-alone system where you go and then you use it to compute whatever information or data you need. You get your information out. But early 1980s, computers started communicating with each other. And for us to really understand this communication, we need to talk about the client server, we need to talk about the peer-to-peer, and that's what's really relevant to us right now. Right now, the internet is dominated by the client-server relationship, which relies on the internet protocol suite of the HTTPS. I mean, everybody thinks the HTTPS right now is pretty secure. Everybody thinks it's okay to share your information, but if your information is stored in centralized servers, how secure is it? Is this something that you can trust? Can you say, oh, your information is stored on Google Drive, that nobody else, maybe someone working in Google Office or someone working, maliciously cannot get your information? I mean, for example now, let's take a look at what's going on in Ukraine. If that happens to be going on in one of the locations where Google has their data centers, what then happens to your information? So this brings about the need for a distributed storage system. This distributed storage system is something that, for example, a couple of you have your laptops here. You probably have some data centers here in your school. But if you can dedicate a hardware to the Web3 network, then you're creating more infrastructure to the network, and you're able to make that network a lot better for everybody, in the sense that there's low latency. For example, now with your HTTPS, if I have to go get data, let's say I have to go to your Instagram page, it has to use the location to find it. Even if there's a closer one nearby, it could take a while. And HTTPS 2 was only good for sharing, was very efficient for sharing small data such as like text and images. But when you come to audio and video, then it's a different case. And that's why at the beginning of like the 21st century, you had things like LimeWire, BitTorrent. These are things that enabled people to share data directly without any middle person holding it. So essentially, there's a lot of securities and weaknesses in the HTTP. And the control of the server means the control of your data. This means that your data can be accessed, altered, and removed by any party with the control of the server. This could be an entity with legitimate authority over the server or malicious hackers. Now we're in the age of big data, and we use data a lot for everything. Like, we're in an age where maybe like in 2006 or 2007, you want to download a movie, the movie would probably be like 150 MB or something. Or you want to stream a movie, it'd probably be that much. But now we're in this age where if you want to stream a movie online, it's probably like 2.5 gig or something like that, right? And you can always see your HTTP server, protocol making it slow, buffering. You have to pause it for a while, let it load. But with the IPFS, it's not like that. Let me explain the IPFS in a way that you can really, really understand. Suppose, let's say in your house, right, you have a room and you dedicate that room to building a little hardware space, to store information. And then you dedicate that hardware to the Web3, you get rewarded for that. And all you have to prove is proof of space-time. That proof of space-time means that how long have you been storing this data for consistently? And you have to do this every time. So you probably do it a couple times a week, and you get rewarded for that. The idea behind this is when you start building your apps and your dApps and your NFT projects, you want to store them on a place where this information is never going away. All the information that you store on the IPFS is replicated across all the nodes or computers in the IPFS. So if somebody comes and says, oh, I want to delete this information, they can't delete it, they can't hack into it. They have to hack into everybody's computer on the network. And who has the time to be sitting down to hack into millions of computers to get your information? So that creates a sound, secure environment for your data. And it's not just the security around it, but the incentive for that security, right? The world, like the VC said, the world is changing very fast. Very, very, very fast. I mean, I'll just give you guys a few things that's going on. How many of you know what's going on in Mali and France, when Mali kicked out France from the country a couple months ago? This is going to change the way countries relate to each other, going to change the way countries share information with each other. It's going to create an opportunity for IPFS to grow in these countries because they don't have to rely on their colonial masters anymore for that support. It's going to create new financial opportunities for them. And where do they want to store this data? On Google Cloud or on a centralized location where it can be destroyed? No, they have to create an environment. So also at Kanza Finance right now, we are working to be the first IPFS storage providers in Africa. We're working with some partners in Kenya to build out the infrastructure and to make it work right. The reason why we're doing this is easy, it's simple. The world is moving very fast. At some point, you never know what's happening in Ukraine could happen at the exact location where your information is stored at maybe iCloud database or iCloud data centers. So you want to have this information stored well. For example, how many of you heard about NFTs, for example? All right. First off, I don't want anybody here to think it's a get-rich-quick scheme. I want to give you guys a very, very good idea. If you raise your hand, please, can you stand up and just tell me what you know about NFTs? Anybody, please. I want to just hear someone.
NFTs are non-fungible tokens. They don't have the same value, so they cannot just be exchanged. So basically, earlier on, there was an illustration that was given about a T-shirt. Say, for instance, a very famous person wore a T-shirt. The value of the T-shirt has already increased because even if it's just a white T-shirt, I can't just exchange it for another T-shirt because someone has already worn it and the person has a lot of fame and everything. So it just can't be exchanged. Taking that for an example.
That's very, very good, actually. I like the fact that you already know about what NFTs are, but I want to give you guys a very, very broad use case of NFTs. Does anybody here have a driver's license, for example? Or does anybody here have a car? Okay, I assume you have a car, sir. Imagine if when you bought your car, right, the papers, the title of your car was given to you and the value of that title was stored on an NFT. So when you want to go and sell your car, for example, you would sell your car and then the person who buys the car will probably have to pay some taxes to the government on that. Anybody can reduce the value of their car, or even insurance, for example, can reduce the value so that they pay less. But if this is stored, let's say the title of your house or your car or whatever is stored as an NFT, and on the smart contract, the government actually puts the exact percentage that they're willing to collect as tax. Every time that car or that house or that property or whatever is traded, not traded, but every time it is being exchanged, like, okay, you buy this from me, immediately the government gets their tax. There's no, oh, let me go drag this person because he paid too much, or no, immediately the government gets their tax because of the smart contract behind that NFT. And nobody else can come on, for example, and say, oh, they own this house when they don't own it, because the title of that house will be registered on the NFT. And let's say you sell this house, this person sells this house and sells it for maybe 5 times. All the owners and all the amounts that house has been sold for will be recorded on the NFT. So this is a use case that is very, very, very needed in our society that could help everybody, you know? I mean, if you want to buy land in Lagos today, for example, you know, if somebody's going to bamboozle you, is given, is stated. Somebody's going to try to swindle you. But imagine if all these lands were registered on the blockchain, let's say as an NFT, for example, and every time somebody wants to buy a land, the government gets their share immediately. It makes transaction very easy. It makes business, it makes trust very easy in a world where there's no trust. And that's the key word I want everybody to understand here. You know, we have these false ideas that we can trust these centralized agencies with our information, with our money, with our livelihood, with our pictures, but can you really trust them? Do you really know what's going on there? Is your data cryptographically, you know, hashed on their database? No. Anybody could see whatever you're doing. Most of the time, they can see everything you're doing. Most of the time, they can even create a back entry into your website, you know, and do whatever they want. But that trust is what Web3 brings for us. That trust is something that Web3, the blockchain, brings for us. Because now we're able to do, for example, I can be here, right, and I can say, oh, I want to buy a house in Ebonyi State, for example, right? I go online, I see the picture, I see the everything, and I agree, okay, I can purchase this house. I don't have to go directly to Ebonyi State and go purchase this house. I could just do it seamlessly and just work. And you can trust that it has happened and the value has been exchanged because it is there and it cannot be changed. So these are the use cases that, you know, we want to drive and push forward. You know, I'm a finance guy. I have my experience in software engineering, and I run businesses here in Nigeria and in Kenya. And at the same time, it's hard for me to talk about the use cases without, you know, mentioning things that are very, very important in, like, you know, transactions and all that. Another specific use cases for it is like this now. When you graduate, what do you guys get? Okay, so if your certificate was stored on the blockchain, right? And I mean, it could be publicly stored or privately stored, and anybody that needs it, you could just share it with them. And they could confirm that that certificate, just by seeing it, seeing all the hash keys and everything, it can be confirmed that that is true. You don't have to come back to your school and try to beg somebody to release your transcript or whatever. You could just be done. And it could be validated from anywhere in the world that this is real. That's another use case in academia, you know? For example now, what if your database, if your information is stored in your database here in school, let's say your centralized database here in school, and one day fire comes up and burns it up, God forbid, what then happens to all your information? If you guys could look it up, there's a college, I think it's called Lincoln College in the US. Just last week, they shut down after 120 years of service. They shut down because they were hacked during the 2020 lockdown. It's been here for 120 years. And now it's no more because of a simple hack. So I'm just trying to, you know, let you guys know that the use cases of the blockchain is beyond the hype that's out there. There's so many use cases that could bring about trust, that could bring about, you know, you sharing whatever information knowing that it belongs to you, you performing whatever transactions knowing that it has gone through. I mean, everything is clear, you know? So, just give me a minute. Another use case of blockchain is personal identity. So, for example, now everybody here has an ID card, right? But, I mean, you can't take that your ID card to the international airport and say you want to travel with it. all right, because it's not a government-issued ID card. But then what if you had an ID card that could be used to say everything they need to say about you? Like, for example, an ID card that on that ID card, whenever you want to share information relevant to that ID, let's say, for example, you're in school. Oh, what's your ID card? Bam, they scan it, it's you. That same ID card, oh, you're at airports. Oh, where's the ID card? Bam, they scan it, it's you, right? And it can be changed because there's a hash key that's for you. This can help in fraud, and there's fraud happening every day. There's people acting like they're somebody else to make certain transactions and do all kind of things. But if this is a situation that we can bring across, we can cancel fraud. If somebody did something, there's evidence that the person did it. You know, if somebody did not do something, there's evidence that it was not done. So there's a lot of use cases, but I want us to think beyond the hype, beyond the get-rich-quick schemes, beyond the whatever you hear online, oh, buy this, what, no. Think beyond that. Think about what exact problems do we have in our society today that I can fix with a blockchain idea. Now, I'm aware that not everybody in this room is an engineer or a software scientist or computer scientist or whatever, but everybody here can come up with an idea that's very, very, very usable in the blockchain space. Everybody here can come up with an idea and, you know, meet the best blockchain engineer in the room, ask him to build it. You guys come together, form a corporation and do something great. Believe me, you guys are still very, very young. Very young. This is the best time for you to go into this. This is the best time for you to actually research. Not just listen, but research and go. There's not much I could tell you about this if you don't do your own research. So research, find the best ideas that could solve your personal problems with the blockchain. Because whether you like it or not, the blockchain is here to stay. And there are going to be more products coming on the blockchain every day. Every day. One of my colleagues at work built this solution on the blockchain. It's a healthcare solution, right? And basically, what it is you have an app, right? A decentralized app where all your health information is stored. Now, you take this app, you go to any hospital that you want to, you know, use their services, and then you just share the exact information you want to share. You know? But in this case in Nigeria, what happens is if I go to this hospital, I register here, they have my information. If I go to that hospital, I register there, they have my information. If I go to this hospital, there's no centralized use of your data, and if there is, like in America, is not in your own custody. So when you have, because you all will agree with me that health information is something that's very, very private, right? Right? Okay. So wouldn't you like to have that information at your custody at all times and only share it with who you want to share with, when you want to share with them? Isn't that best for everybody? There's use cases where hospitals use your information to create databases or to create, you know, studies on diseases and all that. Wouldn't it be a better situation if maybe you were compensated for sharing that information instead of them using that information and, you know, creating value out of it without your consent? Isn't that, I mean, am I making sense here? So I want to challenge everybody here to just think deeply on what solutions can I provide on the blockchain. There's resources out there, there's all types of information out there that you can use to create very viable systems. And when you do, Cello will help you. Kanza Finance will help you. We are actively sponsoring hackathons around the world. So when you guys come up with this idea and you can reach back to us, we would love to sponsor your ideas to bring them to light, because it's the future and it's here already, all right? So thank you guys so much for having me. You guys are wonderful. You guys are kings and queens. And before I go, I must commend your school so much. I must commend your school because your school is so interested in your future. You know, before we had this, you know, they were very, very candid about what they were expecting and how they were expecting it to be conveyed. So I need you guys to be very aware that you're in a very great environment that cares about your future, and take advantage of that, all right? Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mui. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Okay, this is like a think tank session. We need to wrap up within the next 30 minutes. Okay, show of hands. How many computer science students are here? Computer science students. Okay, what other department do we have here? So let's take it one by one. Okay, what use cases are you thinking of using blockchain for in computer science? You have lots of computer science students here. I'll give the mic to 5 people. Let's do it quickly. Okay. Yeah, let's start from you.
Voting.
Okay. University.
Yes, and also another use case is for the supply chain, traceability of products throughout the supply chain.
Okay. Nice. Okay, supply chain, visibility of products. Okay, sounds like a very interesting project. I was already thinking of some of the use cases or advantages of that in terms of striking out counterfeit and things of that nature. Okay.
A concert ticketing system. A concert ticketing system where each ticket is like an NFT and the ownership is being transferred to one unique person.
Sounds very good. Wow. Sir, I want to say something on behalf of the students. I think they are ready for an hackathon, a blockchain hackathon. Are you guys in support of that? Yes. Blockchain hackathon. Okay, no problem. So I think before that will happen, I think so far so good. We've only been able to identify 10 blockchain engineers. Am I right? So that means we need to scale up as much as possible the number of people who are into that would actually be doing blockchain, right? I would need to, we'll discuss with the university on how to make that happen as quickly as possible. It wouldn't be, it would just be something that will happen maybe a day or two. You guys have the facility. Just have people register who are interested, who come run like a quick demo session or hands-on training session, maybe say for like 1 hour or 2 hours, for even those that don't have Solidity or writing smart contract experience. We'll have that organized, and then we'll hack the code. We'll have lots of Coke, lots of drinks. I think this place would actually be a good place to do it, and then have people code for, let's say, 10 hours, 12 hours or thereabout to solve solutions, and then whoever comes with the best solution, I am speaking on behalf of the chairman that is here, the Cello ecosystem lead for Africa is here. You can quote him, that is one that said this, but I believe that Cello would definitely want to be part of this, and would also want to any solution that addresses some of the SDGs or thereabouts that we see that is viable, that can be deployed even within the school. They would be able to fund it up to $25,000 using the Cello fund. Okay, so yes, I just thought to mention that. It's very next. So yes, so he's here, so he can't say it's on record. So it's here. So that is something we would be looking at doing. So which is why I'm just trying to like ask because yes, we've spoken about a number of things. We couldn't like really go deep dive into opening a terminal or open Visual Studio or thereabout, Visual Studio Code, to start writing code or so. We'll provide the materials will be shared. Just please ensure that you're registered. For those who didn't register, so who's the person taking the registration? I saw a lady that mounted the registration part. Okay, yeah, so she's here. If you have not registered for this event, I can see two ladies standing behind at the right of me. I'm sure they've not registered. And then someone waving behind, some other people waving behind. So, madam in charge of registration. So what's the name? Okay, please, can you stand up? So I think what you should do now, as quickly as possible, for everyone who hasn't registered, can you wave a hand? Oh, awesome. As soon as we round up, we're closing the next 20 minutes. Locate her, she'll be standing here. Locate her, ensure that you register. Everybody who attends this program will get the materials to you and on how to get started, writing smart contracts, and also doing stuff. We'll provide materials that are easy to understand, that provide step-by-step approach on how to get started. So by the time we're coming back for the hackathon, we'll come in full force. We'll probably spend maybe 2 days or thereabout, because hackathons are not, so it will be 2 days kind of thing. People build solutions, and then we'll have a panel of judges. We'll typically have some of the team join us from US or thereabout to also be part of the panel of judges. We'll typically want to transmit this live or thereabout just for everybody to see. So those were the best solutions that are marketable or that can be deployed. Thank God we have lots of farmland, lots of facility, lots of things around. So building solutions that can scale. I recall the registrar was saying something around having something on blockchain that helps with records. The business unit has also mentioned something in that regard. So I'm already giving you a expo as regards some other stuff that you can build aside from the SDGs. But yeah, aside from that, I think, what other departments do we have here? You said? Accounting. Oh, there was an interesting conversation we had about the accounting people, but we can't really go deeper, but we'll speak about that. Then I heard something. Agriculture, yes. Okay. Agriculture is, I hold agriculture dear to me. I've done a couple of projects in terms of agriculture, created what's it called? A mechanized or electronic way, scarecrow kind of thing, a scarecrow mechanized system where we're reading the soil temperature, soil texture, the temperature, the soil pH, and every other thing, then transmitting it to a data warehouse that was computing, running analytics. From that, we could estimate the volume of water that was required to water a particular piece of land, and also to water a particular plant for it to give optimum yield, what time to actually do that. Also, we're able to use computer vision to identify plants that had pests and things of that nature. So if you have some of those information stored in blockchain and things of that nature, it's something so interesting. But this was me just sharing my own idea. Which idea do you have that you're thinking? It doesn't need to be concrete. And you just write that idea down. For everybody who has spoken, I would recommend that you write those ideas that you've mentioned, write it down. It's something you should start thinking of working on. I don't think it has been said before, but for when you guys come together, form teams, and come up with proposals or solutions that you want to build on blockchain, and solutions that will typically solve things around you, right? There is a fund that is also available, just like I mentioned before, that offers a grant up to $25,000 or more. So that is still there. So which is why I'm emphasizing that you have ideas. Don't just have it in your head, right? As far as you're using blockchain technology, write it out, draft it. If you need to form a team, work with a few people. It could be something you're doing in your extracurricular time or thereabout when you go on break or something. You can research about it. And then once we're ready for the hackathon, nobody's even saying you can't come to the hackathon with a finished product, right? I've seen an hackathon where they brought a project that they've been working on for a while, and that was actually what won the hackathon. I know there's a Microsoft Imagine Cup program, stuff that usually happens and things of that nature. So most of it teams that usually win, they've been working on it for a while. Yeah, so please, I want to encourage each and every one of you. I know we've mentioned computer science, we've mentioned agric, we've mentioned accounting. Which other departments? Okay, so I'm hearing electrical. I'm also hearing mechanical. Which other one? Okay. So I think we have like a perfect combination. We have agric collaborates with computer science. If they want to have some electrical circuits or switches where you're using Arduino boards or things of that nature, you can collaborate on that. And it looks as if what I was saying was gibberish, because the facial expression you gave. Yeah, so, sorry, electrical students, you work on DCs, you work on boards, right? Okay, yeah. But it sounded gibberish to you, because when I was saying it. So yes, so you can collaborate together, you can collaborate across your departments. If you're interested in research or thereabouts, you can decide to do more research on blockchain, on what the various use cases. I can keep speaking about the various use cases from now up until tomorrow morning. I never get tired. But I think we've spoken a lot about, we've spoken enough about, what's it called? About concepts. We've spoken about a number of things. It's just about for you to start working on your idea. We'll provide you resources with the necessary resources and support and guidance as to how to move forward with this. At this point, I want to entertain questions, any kind of questions. We have some couple of minutes before we call it a day. Any kind of questions, questions. Please come forward. If you have a questions, please, it's just one mic. Yeah, just come forward. Any kind of question. Don't be shy. That's why we're here. We came all the way from Lagos for this, so I won't be happy if I don't get questions. Okay, let's start with you, sir.
Okay. My name is Wina, Civil Engineering. For me, I've been listening since, and I think we are prioritizing security over privacy. So how do, if I'm trying to make like transaction and I don't want every other person to see it on the blockchain, is there a way I can still get to do that? Like, okay, let's say Cello and Landmark is trying to make some internal transactions and they don't want students to get access to that. Is there a way that the blockchain is available for that sort of thing? Because I feel like the blockchain is available for everybody. I can just get the passcode or passkey or whatever, and I can access that. But it's not seeming like I can do transaction, I can send money, I can do stuff without like getting everybody to see it.
So your concern is security, privacy. Okay, sounds good. And then usually I would have asked you a bunch of questions, and then you'll answer the question you just asked based on that. But I think I'll still need to go that approach. So why is privacy a priority to you? You're not a Nigerian politician, obviously, so why?
No, I just feel like to some extent, everybody's data is personal. So if for example, I want to, I don't know, do stuff, I want to buy a house, for example, and I don't want everybody to know about what I'm trying to do personally, and I don't want someone else, a third-party person, to check up on how much I'm paying for maybe my rent or something like that. The blockchain doesn't seem like it's providing the opportunity.
Okay. So how I'll answer that question is this way. If you do not want transparency, then you don't think of blockchain. However, even when you do a transaction, before anybody can see it, you, the person who carry out the transaction, is the one that will provide the key. So if you do not let out the key from your side, nobody will typically see it. Only those who are sitting down and watching all the transactions, millions of transactions that are happening on the blockchain. Does that make sense? Yeah, because quote and unquote, anything you're doing in this world, you're being watched. If we break it down, is it the money that came into your account? There are some people that know what came into your account. They know where it came from. They know all the various people, they know all the various stuffs you buy, all the food you eat, like where you spend the money. It's there. So, yeah, thank you. Next, please, if you have any question, you will do yourself no good if you leave here and then realize that you have questions. Even if you, no, talk. Are you shy? Microphone shy? Don't want it to be used against you? Or what? Please ask your questions, please. If you have any question, even if you yourself know that the question you're asking doesn't make sense, please come and ask. Just for someone else to tell you what the correct thing is. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, please. Yeah. It's going through. I understand. I understand the kind of question he's asking. So I already got the response. So I will tell you one simple truth. This is my own personal opinion. I have discovered over the years those who study computer science or software engineering, they are better off as an engineer, a software engineer, as compared to a software developer. You can quote me anywhere. A software engineer knows the principles, is taught the principles of how to write software, what and what needs to be in place, right? While an engineer, while a developer, someone like me, I didn't study computer science. I studied quantity surveying, right? But one way or another, I worked with those who study computer science and actually wrote 3 or 4 research papers with a number of computer science professors. But in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to building applications, someone like me can build the application to work. But when you're now thinking of scalability, right, using the best algorithm or the best way to solve the problem, a normal me who is not the best person, someone who studied engineering, software development or computer science, will do a better job, right? For lack of a better word, the way someone describes it, we have a lot of software developers around, but we have few software engineers. I use 2 different words: software engineer, software developer. A developer can get something done. I know a few of you might be thinking of doing a startup, right, after you finish, or you might have even started your own startup or thereabouts. Your first 1 year or thereabouts that you have an MVP and everything, customers are using the app, is breaking, there are bugs. By the time you raise money, what investors are always prioritizing for you is for you to get a proper engineering team to build your product again, to rebuild it. So it's at that point you start seeing that, yes, you can say you want to start learning Solidity, you want to start learning smart contracts and things of that nature. But those basic principles you are being taught, algorithm, data structures, all of that, they are very, very important. I can tell you that for a fact, very, very important. So I hope I've been able to answer your question. No, please feel free to ask your questions. So to answer your question straightforward, the step is quite simple. You understand the basics, you understand you're being taught some things already in sciences and computing and all of that. Then typically you want to brush up a bit about, just pick a language. The approach I usually recommend, you pick a language, you know about it, know about data structures and algorithm, writing data structures and algorithm, using that language, and then you pick up what's called Solidity, right? Because Solidity is not going to help you solve your problem. It's you that needs to write stuff that would leverage on it to solve the problem, right? So you need to have an understanding of the problem, have an understanding of the language you want to use, and then use it. I hope that answers the question. First one. Second one about internship. There is So to answer you straight and direct, there are lots of internship opportunities. There's something called the Cellular Alliance. It's companies that are building using Web3 technology, right, that have similar goals or interests or thereabout, or shared goals with Cello. So it's called Cellular Alliance. That Cellular Alliance has over 150 or 180 or even 300 companies that are that are part of the Cellular Alliance, and at least I know 4 or 5 of them in Nigeria. So it's not a problem to recommend any of you to any of those organizations that are building stuff using Web3. Thank God you have someone from Kansas Finance here. So definitely, Kansas would definitely want to review students who are interested in having their internship with them. I hope I've been able to answer your question. I noticed that when I was asking, have I been able to answer this side, like from this side angle, from this angle like this, just straight down. You guys have questions, but nobody wants to answer. Maybe I'll throw the mic in between later. And for those that want to ask questions, I don't want to come out. Most especially that lady at the back. She has some questions, but she doesn't want to come out to speak. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, sir. My name is Erolu Alwadari. I'm the founder and CEO of WebSense Africa. WebSense Africa. Okay. Yeah, and at WebSense Africa, what we do is to try to promote digital and soft skill education for a younger demographic. We're talking about secondary school students. And this is my question. Blockchain technology, it's a new thing. It's a shiny thing. And I was listening to the CEO of Patricia the other day, Anofejiro, and I was saying that across the globe, we don't have like a global champion for blockchain yet. It's a shiny thing that Nigeria and Africa can win at. This is my question. Is there an opportunity or is there an aspect of Celo that supports transferring this knowledge or education to a younger demographic to make sure that, because even though we are all winning in our different areas, our different career paths, right, as tech people, right, I believe that this whole thing is actually new to us, right, because we didn't grow up with these native technologies like the cryptocurrency, the Web3 technology, the blockchain technology. Now the question is, can Celo support transferring this blockchain education down to a younger demographic? And that's my question, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So my direct answer to that at this point would be no. And the reason is because of concerns for censorship, right? You would not find younger folks or kids or thereabouts being taught about software that way, right? First thing first, that I am familiar with, because I've been part of 1 or 2 initiatives where we're training kids and younger ones, even those in secondary school, on how to build softwares. But the major showstopper there is censorship. For every new technology or emerging technology, or as the case might be, you would always find a number of things in there. You will find those who are trying to run quote unquote Ponzi schemes. You find those who are trying to transmit or propagate illicit materials or thereabouts, or typically modern day slavery or so, right? And younger ones could be of target. So I'm not saying it's not something that can be done, but I'm just saying it's something that might take some time. I don't know if Aliyu wants to add 1 or 2 things to it, but I feel from my own position, censorship is very, very vital.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Actually, due to the fact that blockchain itself is a very complicated thing to explain, even for grown people like us, right? Sometimes it takes very, very lot of energy and effort to be able to explain what encryption is, blockchain. I can remember the last time I was explaining, people were talking about, when I asked if it was just block and chain, and say yes. So it's something that is very difficult to explain to, even an average person that is not even a kid. It's not like we don't support, educating the young ones. We have a specific person in our team that is actually leading the ambassador event. So we like university events, campuses events. So we go through different universities for education, different higher education, higher institutions like Polytechnic, College of Education. But we still don't see, the easiest way to communicate all these blockchain jargons to the younger ones. So hopefully we are able to have a very simple curriculum to be able to, disseminate this kind of information to them. Of course, we are hope for anything like that. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, madam.
Thank you, sir. My name is Dia Kolola. My question is, in what ways can blockchain technology be used as a means of job creation in the field of accounting?
Any other person with any question aside from R? Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so they want to put me in a corner. Okay, so how do I answer this? Before talking about issue of job creation, there is the part of even understanding how it impacts that particular field, right? In forensic audits or thereabouts, there are certain things that is being looked at also. But I think basically for accounting, the ledger system is something that is quite applicable, easiest to relate with in terms of accounting, where you know that information are being stored, numbers or figures are being stored, be it for any transaction or thereabouts. And one of the interesting things for it is that when a transaction occurs, the information is not stored just in one place. So take, for example, if you are the accountant of NACOS, and then your accounting solution is using blockchain, right, and a ledger system. If you received 50,000 naira, you saw bank at, student brought receipt to you, right, and the total was like, let's say 5 million naira, 5,100,000 naira. And let's say the bank or the account officer or thereabouts wants to perform some wuru, some abracadabra, and then takes out like 500,000 naira, right, thinking that they might not know. Your own record already shows that. And that record is not only domiciled with you, it's distributed across a number of people, right? If you're not going to go against or have a confrontation with that bank, with the account officer or thereabouts, and if they want to make any claim that no, it's not that amount, you have evidence, because it's not just only you that has that information, but it's stored on a blockchain. Everybody on that network has that information, right? So there isn't anything that can happen. Because even if you're going to change anything on the particular record you have, as soon as you make that update, every other person within the network gets that update, and they know who initiated that change. So in terms of the listing of accounting, it helps curb issue of lack of transparency and things of that nature and the likes. In terms of creating job opportunities, in my head, I'm using one style to try to understand your question, and I'm also not trying to go beyond some certain levels. But to better answer your question, the opportunities there are, should I say, they are emerging, for lack of a better word, in terms of accounting. The opportunities there are emerging, because the reason why I use that word is because here in Africa, we haven't really started seeing lots of adoption. The adoption is, the involvement is there. There's a thing of being involved and a thing of it being adopted. If, for example, you wanted to pay for some goods and they are saying that, oh, the transaction is on the chain or thereabouts, that's when I know, yes, we're coming to it. Because at that point, you now start thinking of regulation, now start thinking of how would accountants be able to audit what was done on the chain and what was not done on the chain when you're trying to do your book balance or thereabouts. But it's something that is coming up. In other parts of the world, it's already like moving extremely fast. I think I've been able to answer your question. Okay, thank you. Okay.
Thank you, sir. My name is Jadis Sola from Computer Science Department. So the question I want to ask is based on what the first question that the first person asked. When he talked about the transparency of the blockchain and at the same time it's being private. So I wanted to, because when he asked the question in my mind, I thought and referred to the private blockchains and the hybrid blockchains, which the private blockchain only allows the person that owns it to add other people to the blockchain. The hybrid specifies some certain actions that people can carry out on the blockchain. So I just wanted to ask if hybrid blockchains can be used in the case of you making a transaction private, or nothing can be used, all transactions are transparent. Is my question clear? Yes. Okay.
Good afternoon. My question is to the second speaker. He said in the Web3, like when they are storing their data, they store it in like physical places. Then talked about case of maybe if there's a war and the place get burnt. Then he also said, sorry, in Cloud 2, sorry, in Web 2, sorry. They also say in the Web 3, they are looking for like physical places where if you host their server, you get paid. What if where you are hosting their data gets burnt too? What happens?
Next place.
Okay, my name is Christopher Ogundele, and my question is, as a mechanical engineer, firstly, how does blockchain help my company if I produce like cars and generators and stuff? How does it help in service, pay, and security? Secondly, does blockchain also help in terms of accountability, like in terms of instrumentation? How does blockchain help in counting and stuff? That's my question.
Okay, so I'm coming in as a farmer. I spoke to you. So there I sat down and I wrote like some information, benefits of using blockchain in agriculture. Okay, so now there are many limitations. For instance, let's just say Nigeria. Majority of the peasant farmers are peasant farmers in Nigeria. For me, I don't know anything about, say Web 2. I have no knowledge about it. How do you plan on like helping us? For instance, I want to do it myself. I want to make use of blockchain. Okay, for me, that I am vast with technology, I might say, okay, I want to do this. But for a peasant farmer in Nigeria, how do we beat the limitation?
Good afternoon. My name is Kolole Michael from Department of Computer Science. I wanted to ask how blockchain actually affects medical coding, and then I also wanted to find out if the knowledge of cryptography could enhance the understanding of blockchain, or if the understanding of blockchain could enhance the understanding of cryptography.
Medical, right? Okay, that's good.
So, making reference to the second speaker where he mentioned you storing the name of your car on NFT. So I'm asking, you mentioned the point that, okay, if you store your car on NFT, for example, I'm using Ford, I didn't sell my car, but you said automatically, once the value of the car increases, like, then the government takes their tax, because I don't know if I'm mixing it up. Like, how does the government take their tax when I don't sell my car?
Good day, Bello Michael, mechatronics engineering, yes. My question is, the key you spoke about, like the password, is it being auto-generated, or you are the one to insert it, or is the blockchain engineer that does it? And secondly, are you the one to put in your informations in the blockchain, or it's just...
Any other questions?
My name is Oye Badi, just Computer Science. So I wanted to ask, so there are a couple of people working on their final year project right now that are working on blockchain and stuff like that. So I wanted to ask, is there a way that these projects can be put together and then sent to your foundation? Since blockchain is not really adopted in Nigeria as of now in most companies, and then I know that Celo Foundation is not just in Nigeria, because you guys said he's the head of Africa, so there are other countries that make use of it. Is there a way that these projects can be put together and then pitched to those countries that make use of it through your foundation?
Okay, I think this one has hello everyone. Clemens Peter. Yeah, in regards to the Clemens Peter, electrical engineering. In regards to IPFS, I wanted to ask if it actually depends on fiscal servers, because if it depends on fiscal servers, there's possibility of downtime, or if it's like a peer-to-peer, like sharing the data in bits in various systems.
Thank you all very much for your questions. Okay, I'm going to take a quick run through. Someone asking about how data is going to be uploaded to the blockchain, selling of car or no selling of car, trying to understand how that entire thing works. Simple, just in few lines, right? Information that you provide, you actually input your information, right? And whenever a transaction happens, that there's a need for a change of ownership, right? That transaction happens and is tied to that NFT. And that is how the record is known. And then to the lady that was concerned about tax, don't worry, it was just using that as an analogy, as a possible use case, in order to cut down for costs, in terms of cost of running government, in terms of trying to get people to pay their tax. Then to the other person asking a question about, what's it called? A Greek. Let me come back to that one. Mechanical. To answer your question directly, no use case in terms of the question you asked comes to top of the mind. But one thing I know is in terms of the other operational things or thereabouts that puts together your mechanical, be it your factory, also in terms of transparency, in terms of keeping records and information about where raw materials are coming from, or things of that nature, blockchain can help you with that. Someone was asking about medical, use case for medical, right? Where's that person? Medical, use case for medical. Someone asked a question on use case in terms of medicine. Okay. To answer your question, initially I remember that during the beginning of this program, we spoke about medical records, keeping medical coding. Okay, so you can use cryptography for that to, what's it called? To encrypt your formulas and things of that nature. That can be embedded into the mechanical tools, the machine you guys use to code and uncode bits, genetics or thereabouts. I'm not a biological person. I failed that course once or twice and I ran away from it. But I know the use case in terms of the encoding, right? You can use it for it. And then the other receiving party can then now unlock it using whatever patterns or thereabout that you have recommended. So that's one use case that I know. And also in terms of storage of information regarding those genetical information that have been encoded, you can also have it. So at the end of the day, on the back side, there's someone that has, or there's a way to identify which information belongs to which party or which patient. Also, which other one? The project on blockchain. To be fair and fair, I think I've said it like once or twice. If your project or final year project or any project you have, as far as it solves a problem and it's scalable and is doable, you can bundle it together. You can have it bundled together, or we can work on it during the hackathon period. You present it directly to the panel of judges, and after which you might definitely be selected to be supported to roll out your solution or thereabouts. Which other one? Which other question have I missed? Yeah, okay, the one for IPFS, I'm coming back. You said what? Privacy. Okay, private key thereabouts is auto-generated. You are the one who provides your key before you can see information. Then the part about hybrid cloud, hybrid chain, blockchain, and things of that nature. To answer you straight and direct, it's private means it's private. only those that are included. It's public means it's public. However, you need to provide your public key. Hybrid as well, you determine the parameters or thereabout for it to be public or so. So they are, for lack of a better word, there are requirements from both parties for it to be used. Please, one house. Which other use case or which other question? I know the IPF, you said? Agriculture in terms of, you said? Yeah? Oh, okay, local farmers. So to answer your question, it's not something that is like, that you want to like drill down to the peasant farmer or thereabouts. They can enjoy the use case. You can build a solution that taps into the peasant farmers' ecosystem where they will benefit. Be it either creating associations where all of their farmlands and information or thereabouts are being stored in the blockchain and it's forever there. Nobody can say that the building where the files were stored caught fire. It's just like me saying that I want peasant farmers to know how to write code. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's not everybody that gets into technology, right? But they can actually enjoy the benefits or the services that it offers. I think that answers your question directly, right? Okay, which other one haven't we talked on? I know IPFS is pending. Then what about data, storing information, saying that the first speaker spoke about information being stored somewhere and then one place catching fire or thereabout, what happens to the data once there is a blockchain network and you have users or people on it and then something happens to one of the systems, the record is still in other systems. So take, for example, if NACOS decides to say they want to create their own blockchain and every single student in this university, their laptop is used as a storage device, does that mean that if laptop A with this lady here is not available for a while, it doesn't mean that the information is not accessible, right? These other people are also on the network, so information will be retrieved from those other parties. Any other question or thing that we haven't touched on aside from IPFS? And then I think Aliu wants to answer one other question. Any other one? Say it. Yes. Yes. It's similar to it, but it's not the same. You said? Okay, so to answer you specifically, the security part is different. I have cloud expertise as well. Way back, I used to practice all of that. So I can actually, if we go into the full details of that. So what you're referring to in terms of cloud is redundancy, right? It needs to be initiated. So what happens is, in the case of that, there's replication. It is not duplication. In blockchain, you make an update to this table, right? That is sent across the entire network. In that issue of replication, I can decide to say that the information I'm pushing at this time is locally redundant to this location, right? And isolate it. So that's how it is. And in terms of that, what you're referring to, right? I can decide to say that information should be buffered to clients in terms of either a browser. I'm using the word client in terms of either a browser, phone, or whatever device they're using to connect, based on the closest proximity of the data center to that particular person, right? And then all of the transaction and information is stored on the closest one and then now replicated across. That time, so in terms of cloud, it's way faster, but in terms of blockchain, it's for storage purposes, not just ordinary storage. Once something is changed elsewhere, it's replicated across board. So it's different. The security levels are also different. On that one, you know the number of locations where your information has been replicated, right? If you are using any of the public cloud service provider, be it Microsoft Azure, AWS, or GCP, in your settings and when you are setting up, you determine the number of locations where your information is being replicated to. But in case of blockchain, it's based on the number of systems on your network. Ali, yeah, you can go ahead.
All right, so for the IPFS question you asked, he actually answered it, but with the HTTPS, you have your data, they try to locate your data, but with the IPFS, it's not about the location of the data, but about the content. So the content is cryptographically hashed and distributed across the network. So once that's done, if this data center burns down, it doesn't make a difference, because you can access it from anywhere else. You understand? Thank you.
Ali?
Yeah, I think someone asked a question around using hybrid blockchain or private or public blockchain for private informations. In this regard, you can actually use an hybrid, but it depends on what kind of information you want to make public or the ones you want to make private, right? If you build an entire solution, the whole of the solution is not going to be private. Like there would be some information you want to show to the public, while there are some you want to restrict to yourself alone. So in this regard, you can actually use an hybrid blockchain, just making sure that the ones you want to make private remains in private blockchain, while the one you want to make public remains in the public blockchain. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I hope we have been able to answer all possible questions. If there are any other one, you can channel it later to us. As I said, this is not going to be a one-off thing. We're hoping to come back later on to have an hackathon. I want to thank each and every one of you for taking out time to be with us today. Sorry. Okay. I know there's item 7 planned for everyone here. I think it's on its way. But I think at this point we've come to the end of this program. We want to appreciate everyone for taking out time to listen to us. And we hope that when next we come back and have an hackathon, we would see a number of you. They're coming upstairs. Okay. Okay, yeah. So I hope that when next we come back, we would have so much people turn up for the hackathon. So thank you all very much. We wish you all the best. Please don't just think about ideas, note them down and look for ways of to start working on them as soon as you get the resources that will be shared with you. Over to you, Ma.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for...
So I'm into the food is already in the classroom somewhere, so everybody, yeah. I think, are we up to 300? Okay, so just as I said, the food, I'm being told that there's item 7 for everyone. I think we have like 300 packs. I don't think we're up to 300. So some people might get 2 or thereabouts. So it's all there. So it's normal. It's normal. It's normal. Thank you all very much for staying with us. Hope to see you all during the hackathon. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you all for staying here with us. We want to appreciate Cello Foundation too, and I'm going to invite the NACOS president for a vote of thanks. Please.
On behalf of computer science students and the whole department, we just want to say thank you, Cello. Thank you so much for coming to educate us on blockchain. I believe all of us, we have all learnt a lot from this meeting, and I know we are going to build ourselves. We are also looking forward to partner with you in the future and do a lot. So I just want us to all appreciate Cello by shouting, thank you, Cello. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you to all the students of Landmark University and all the departments that are present here today. So we'll be having refreshments after this. Thank you very much for staying with us. Please, we're going to invite our chaplain female of NACOS to give us our closing prayer.
So everybody, please just stay still. Do not leave the hall. Don't leave the hall. If you leave the hall, it's on your own accord.